Hello everyone, this is a detailed track guide of Summit Point, Maine, driven in a Mazda Miata. This Miata is a 1994 naturally aspirated Miata. It's completely stock, making somewhere around 110 to 115 horsepower. Hopefully this guide will help intermediate and advanced level drivers shave off a couple of milliseconds of their lap time, maybe even seconds. Also, for you instructors that are not typically driving these cars, but you end up instructing a student with a Miata, hopefully this will help you personalize the line a little bit more. So without further ado, let's get into the guide. I'm driving down the front straight. The maximum speed here is typically around 107 to 115 miles an hour depending on your car. I start to brake at around the 3 marker, maybe 3 1/4, 2 3/4, depending on how well your trail braking is, and also depending how well you exited turn 10. So I start braking up at about here at the 3 marker, and I'm already looking at the apex. I completed my heel toe and my shifting. The turning point is right in front of this seam here. As you can see, this seam starts to curve also. So I'm gonna actually show you exactly what I mean. Somewhere around here, you're going to start turning. Obviously, keep on trail braking properly. So turn there, right in front of that. Aim for the apex. If you turn a little bit early by mistake, no problem. Use a little bit more of the apex curbing right here. Sorry. Since the car is not loaded on that side, that's an unloaded side. All the weight is on the left side. Therefore, this will not affect your car balance at all. So trail brake properly, get on throttle somewhere right before the apex, which is this point. Now, a very, very key thing here is to start unwinding the steering slowly. A lot of drivers hold the steering for way too long, which induces tire drag, and it's actually going to slow you down a little bit. It's not something you are going to feel, but your lap times will suffer a little bit. I think there's probably about 100 or 200 milliseconds to gain here if you start unwinding properly. As you can see, I'm starting to unwind. I'm using even this access road all the way. I'm completing turn 2. I'm getting ready for turn 3, shifting into 4th gear. The braking zone here is somewhere at the end of this first access road, which is around here. That's where you start braking. I left foot brake, so if you're very proficient with left foot braking, this will help you a lot. Also, the biggest mistake that most drivers do is they tend to brake a little bit later, which is awesome. It feels great. But the key here is to get as early as possible on throttle because you're going uphill. So you want to help the car accelerate a little bit more. Since this all the way from turn 3 to turn 5 it's a straight, the earlier you get on throttle, the better will be because your lap times will obviously decrease. The turning point is at around the end of the beginning of the second access road. As you can see, I turned a little bit too early here. Not bad, but it's a little bit too early. I'm using more curbing since I recognized I did that mistake. I'm also on throttle already. I'm tracking out all the way on the curbing. That's where you want to be. Now you set up for turn 4, which for a naturally aspirated Miata, it's a full throttle turn. I'm moving over to the left side, making sure no one is there. The turning point here, let me back up just a hair. So if I back up a little bit, as you can see, there's this extension of the pavement, whatever you want to call it, right here. It ends here. So basically your turning point is somewhere around the car length after this extension of pavement ends. So it's somewhere around here where I have my blue marker, and you'll see me turn in here. I'm not lifting, it's full throttle. I know this is mostly a confidence turn, but as your confidence will go up, you will slowly start transitioning into full throttle. So there you go, full throttle, turn. As soon as the wheels are straight, start applying the brake. If you executed everything properly, your wheels will be straight at about here. Depending on how well you perform turn 4 and your top speed through turn 4, maybe it's going to be a little bit further down, which is ideal. This turn 5, it's very important. It's a very, very slow turn, probably one of the slowest turns on the track, if not the slowest turn on the track. This in this turn, trail braking is very, very important. It's a very long trail braking, a little bit different than turn 1, where the trail braking is a little bit shorter. Here you want to slow down the car. The entry in this turn is here on the left side. Do not go back to the right side or attempt to go to the right side. If you get the chance to go back to the right side, it means you're too slow. If you're driving fast through turn 4 on full throttle, you will never have time to go back to the right side of the track. Anyways, I keep on going. I'm braking. I'm trail braking hard here. It doesn't matter how you enter this turn as long as you make it out of it properly. The most important thing is here to maximize your speed between turn 3 and turn 5. So I'm trail braking to turn 5. I'm all the way out to the right side. The car is understeering a little bit because I'm already on throttle, which is normal as long as you can stay on the pavement. Then move over to the left side. Now here, it's kind of hard to see. Let me try to back it up a little bit. There's also very little extension of pavement here. Your turning point is right where the tire is. It's right there. So your left tire, where it's parallel with that extension, with the end of that extension, that's where you turn in. Left foot braking here is very, very beneficial. So if you master left foot braking, use it because you can brake hard, rotate quickly, and then get on throttle. And since you're on full throttle, this will help you actually rotate the car a little bit more. So you're doing throttle steering here. So as you can see, I was already braking. The car is understeering, but it's fine. I'm full throttle. I'm fitting on the pavement. As you've noticed, I didn't do much wheel movement at all. So if you set up properly for turn 6, then you don't have to steer almost at all. Also keep in mind that turn 6 is probably one of the most important turns on track, maybe the second most important after turn 10, because for a Miata, for naturally aspirated Miata, this whole roller coaster all the way from turn 6 to turn 10, it's a full throttle. So it's basically a straight. So here I am, I'm turning in, a little bit more, steering, adjusting properly. I'm on the right side, then I'm turning a little bit earlier than you would typically do with a medium to high horsepower car, because I can still fit on the pavement properly and I'll be on the left side of the track before turn 9. Now I'm making the track a little bit shorter. I'm still on full throttle. So now I'm actually executing all this roller coaster portion a little bit faster. So I'm turning a little bit earlier. I'm using the curbing a little bit. I'm on the left side of the track. There's not many reference points here. There's only one reference point that I'm using, and I've seen it since ever since they repaved it. I don't know if it's the best reference point here, but if you can see, there are some tire marks here, somewhere around here. That's where you want to turn. Turn 9, you're going uphill, so you can afford turning a little bit earlier than normal. This is an off camber turn, so if you turn too late, you will end up missing the apex and you will end up compromising your throttle, so you're gonna have to lift most likely. The goal here is not to lift at all and fit on the pavement. Also, you don't want to turn in too late where you're going to induce tire drag, because when you induce tire drag, obviously you're not accelerating with your full potential. So there you go, I'm turning, I'm unwinding slowly. I don't have to unwind right away. I'm using slip angle here to turn the car. There's enough room. I'm using the curbing all the way, wheel straight, full throttle. The shifting point over here, I forgot to mention, it's between turn 8 and turn 9. That's where I like to shift because I want to rev up the car all the way down to 7,200 RPM. So here I am, I'm shifting here into 4th gear. And there you go, I'm exiting turn 9, full throttle, all the way, full throttle. Going over the bridge, wheel straight. Now this turn is also a confidence turn. It's very tricky and it needs to be taken with a lot of slip angle. What slip angle does, it's basically it's helping you rotate the car. Basically your rear helps you rotate the car. For slip angle to work properly, you have to get on throttle soon. So here I'm just going to brake with my left foot, quick braking, turning, and then I'm getting on throttle. The braking point here is somewhere where it's kind of like in the middle of this, or maybe a little bit earlier of this access road, so parallel to that, so it would be somewhere around here. It's a very short braking, and right here, it's unfortunate you can't see them. There are some power lines which are up here somewhere, which you can't see. When you're right under those power lines, that's where you turn in. That's a good reference point, but eventually if you're looking at the apex, you get into this visual memory and it will help you turn in at the right time. As typically, if you turn in a little bit too early, don't freak out, no problem, just use a little bit more of the curbing. If you turn in a little bit late, well, that's actually a little bit worse because you might lose the apex, because if you try to turn towards the apex, even though you turned late and you're traveling with the same speed, you will understeer severely and maybe even snap oversteer. So miss the apex if you turn in late and get on throttle much later. Try to stay on the pavement. Worst case scenario, put 2 tires off and try to come back when you slow down a little bit. So there you go, I'm turning. As soon as I'm turning, you can already hear I'm on throttle. So I'm traveling with slip angle. A little bit too much throttle there, but it's fine, no problem. I corrected that. I'm going all the way down on the curbing, using it all. That's the goal. You want to use all this. I'm sorry, there you go. You want to use all that curbing. Your car needs to be all the way on the curbing. If you get on throttle soon enough with the proper amount of steering, you will get there. So now I'm on full throttle and I'm exiting turn 10 with a good speed, somewhere around 77 to 80 something miles an hour, and there you go. Now I'm on the front straight. That's about it. Thank you everyone for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment sections below, and see you next time.